Hey everybody. Well, this episode is something of a milestone for me because it's the very first animated film to ever be featured on this show. It's a movie called Felidae about the adventures of a talking cat. Aw, isn't that cute? I don't know much about it other than it's a German film, and apparently at the time it was made, it was the most expensive German animated film ever. Hey, it's on Wikipedia, so it must be true, right? Now, this may seem like a bit of an odd choice for a show that normally does cult or genre films, but I figured I needed a bit of a break from all the monster and horror movies I usually do. And besides, it is foreign, so who knows, maybe there'll be something weird about it. So here is Felidae. Yeah, the credits seem pleasant enough, but I don't know if I trust any movie that involves a guy named Uwe. We also get a song by Boy George over the opening credits. Yeah, this is nice, I guess, but it's not very German. It should go more like this.
Oh, name's Francis. You can see what species I belong to, but don't take me too lightly.
Oh, great, they forgot to animate the cat's mouth. This is our protagonist, Francis, voiced by Carrie Elways. Princess Bride reference. Alright, got that out of the way, let's keep going. Francis is driving along with his owner, who has apparently decided to move into the house from Psycho. Interesting choice. I shouldn't be surprised, though, since it's pretty obvious this guy has questionable judgment. Seriously, socks with sandals? Ugh.
The musty stench hit me like a sledgehammer. I realized immediately that this revolting smell was not coming up the stairs from the cellar, but was in fact creeping down the stairs from the second floor. And I should have known better than to set paw in the place.
Huh. Well, that was a curiously ominous moment for a talking cat movie. Ah well, I'm sure it's nothing. At this point, Francis meets another neighborhood cat called Bluebeard, voiced by Michael Madsen. Reservoir Dogs reference. And check. Alright, I'm making record time. Anyway, Francis and Bluebeard discover the dead body of another cat with its throat slashed in the backyard at... Wait, what?
You taking over that shit heap in there? Interesting place. I go in there for a piss occasionally.
You know what, just give me a second here. Okay, let's see. Felidae. Plot keywords. Cat murder, adult animation, disfigurement? Damn it, Germany, don't you know that Japan is the country that's supposed to make the fucked up cartoons? They don't need your help.
There he lay, a black brother.
Francis, please. They prefer the term feline Americans. So yeah, the movie is actually a murder mystery about several neighborhood cats being brutally killed, featuring graphic sex and violence. Because I've always said the Aristocats would have been a better movie if it had been more like the Aristocrats. But you know, mutilated cats still aren't quite enough. I mean, this is a European production. What we need are some artsy dream sequences. Oh man, I gotta lay off the catnip. You know, I gotta admit this is pretty creepy, but would it have killed the animators to draw the rest of this guy's face? So after that bad acid trip, Bluebeard informs Francis that another cat has been murdered.
Anyway, this time it's tight-ass Deep Purple that's taken out his last rat.
One question. Was Deep Purple castrated?
Well, some fans say that Deep Purple lost their balls around Stormbringer, but personally I think that's an underrated album.
You goddamn know all, you're beginning to get on my nerves, wise ass.
Before they can look at the body, though, they run into the neighborhood bully Kong, and by the looks of it, I think somebody's been putting steroids in his fancy feast.
I see you've been cruising the gay scene for a change. That cute little thing behind you sure is a juicy number. You going to show us some of the tricks he taught you?
Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy? Or are you gonna bite? What was that? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. Would you repeat it? Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy? Or are you gonna bite? What are we on a playground here, huh?
Alright, enough of Catzilla here. We got some murders to solve.
Didn't you tell me that Purple was too old to be interested in sex?
That's right, so what?
But take a whiff. Purple had gotten very excited when he was killed.
Nah, it's okay. I'll just take your word for it.
The killer has to be a sex machine himself who doesn't like competition from others and decided to wipe him out.
Of course. The killer is Wilt Chamberlain. You know, I'm not really sure why Francis is so eager to solve these murders. Although I guess I'd want to get out of the house too if I lived with somebody who looked like Blob from X-Men. Pretty soon Francis notices something else unusual going on in his new house, namely the fact that the upstairs is being used for some kind of kiddie cult meeting.
Hear thou our prayer, receive our sacrifice. Hallelujah! His hand receive.
Hey, this really is a cult movie.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
Okay, so does Francis's owner just not hear any of this? I mean, I get that the cats are only talking to each other and stuff, but if there were several dozen cats chanting and committing ritual suicide with a Frankenstein electrical device in your house, you would think that'd be something you'd notice.
What I was watching wasn't exactly a scene out of the Aristocats.
Hey, come on, Francis, I already made that reference. Eventually, Francis gets found out, and several of the cult members chase after him. Yeah, the music for this chase scene is alright, but it needs something a little extra. It needs that special German touch. I'm such an asshole. Francis manages to escape from the cult and meets a blind cat called Felicity.
The name's Francis.
Friend or foe?
Friend. A friend forever.
A BFF. Francis is in luck because it turns out Felicity might have some information about the murders.
Have you heard anything you'd describe as unusual in the last few weeks?
Only the death cries.
Just the sound of someone screaming out in terror before their life is ended in the most brutal and painful way possible. You know, pretty normal stuff.
The human race is the kindest there is. Who else would give a useless thing like me a home?
Okay, wait a second, let me get this straight. We have an innocent, sweet-natured character who's optimistic despite their disability and also might be of some help in solving the murders? Wow, you are so dead.
I'm sorry.
Why? There are much worse things, Francis.
Yeah, and they're gonna happen to you before this movie's over. Anyway, regarding the cat cult, Bluebeard tells Francis that they worship a mysterious cat called Cledandus as some kind of feline prophet, and they go see another cat called Pascal to find out more about it. Although, frankly, I don't know why they would even bother with such nonsense, since any enlightened person knows that Garfield is the one true Messiah. Peace and lasagna be upon him.
Have we come to the house of an art collector? Or a pimp?
Doesn't really matter to me, I'm just glad there's finally a pair of breasts on screen that I don't have to black box. Pascal's been keeping track of the murders using a database of all the cats in the neighborhood called a... cat base? Oh, come on, movie, you couldn't have called it a catabase? I mean, if you're gonna do a cat pun, at least go all the way with it. Also, I know this is a minor detail, but is it me or is this monitor really tall?
So they weren't just excited and male, they were all European shorthairs.
Not true. I haven't yet added the sixth victim to the list.
It's Felicity, isn't it? Nailed it!
It's sad, but life goes on, Francis.
Well, not if you're Felicity. No time to dwell on that, though. We got more important things to get to. Like a nightmare sequence that looks like something Salvador Dali would think of if he were a crazy cat lady.
Hop! 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 And hop! Hop!
I sure hope you enjoyed that, because it's probably the most well-animated scene featuring dead cats on strings with their guts falling out that you'll ever see.
Yeah.
You ever get the feeling Francis has killed people? Like suddenly he'll open the fridge and it'll be full of heads? I mean, they'd probably be cat heads, but that's still pretty creepy. Francis investigates the attic of his new house and finds out that it used to belong to a scientist called Praetorius who performed experiments on cats. The experiments don't seem to be very successful, although I'm guessing they'd probably go better if you cut back on the wine, Doc.
It simply defies logic.
Oh, what? The fact that a cat's head melts when you pour acid on it? Yeah, that is weird. It also turns out that they experimented on the cat that the cult worships, Cladandus.
Some factor in his genetic makeup enables him, unlike the other subjects, to absorb the mixture without ill effects. He must be a mutant.
Really? Sure he's not a cat mummy? Francis's tape of Germany's funniest home videos gets interrupted by Kong, who's looking for a fight.
Well...
Okay, seriously, what is Kong? I refuse to believe he's a cat. He looks like what would happen if the Tasmanian devil had sex with that thing from at the Earth's core. Oh, a dead cat that was also pregnant. Lovely. Are there any other charming images you want to throw our way, movie? Oh no. No. Even this movie wouldn't go that... And somewhere a furry has a boner.
Who are you?
Oh sure, Francis, just go ahead and fuck her and then ask for her name. Jeez, ever hear of taking a girl out to dinner first? You know, I wish I could say that this is the first time I've seen two cartoon cats fuck, but that's a lie. Speaking of which, I should probably cover up the nudity. There we go. Okay, come on, Francis, focus! I know you're just taking advantage of the fact that your owner didn't get you neutered, but we got some murders to solve here. Now, Francis, this is no time to jerk off to hieroglyphics. You gotta figure out who's behind all this.
We're being bred back to our origins. All the clues in my dreams that I ignored. My original nightmare. The man without a face. Obviously, that was Preterius.
Okay, how does Francis know all this? The movie gives the explanation that he sees this stuff in his dreams, but how does he dream about stuff he hasn't seen or know about yet? Is he psychic? Does he have the cat shining?
Smart ass.
I'm not being a smartass. I really want to know. Okay, so is there anything else Francis magically knows about the killer?
The murderer isn't a psychopath.
Oh, well, clearly not. So it turns out Francis's new fuck buddy belongs to an ancient breed of cat that people all over the neighborhood are getting. Francis figures out that someone is trying to breed cats back to their ancestral form, and that the murdered cats were killed because they would have tainted the gene pool and disrupted this process. Wait a second, so the plot of the movie involves a madman using selective breeding to create a master race and eliminating anyone deemed genetically inferior? Must resist Nazi joke. Mustn't alienate third largest viewing audience. I did it. Francis and Bluebeard go to Pascal's house, and surprise, he's actually behind the whole thing and is really Cladandus. At least it would be a surprise if we hadn't saw that it was him earlier in the movie. This is what happens when your animators can't draw a pair of eyes in the darkness unless they're on somebody's head. Anyway, the murders and selective breeding were all part of Pascal's plan to overthrow mankind using, horny female cats? Well, I'll give it this, it's not the worst plan to take over the world involving cats I've ever heard.
Oh dear, Francis. You live through your ordinary little day and fall asleep to dream your ordinary, carefree little dreams.
Yeah, you have not seen this guy's dreams. Well, there's only one way to solve this. Cat fight. Nah, fuck it. Francis wins. Fatality. So Francis kills Pascal, rescues Bluebeard, and saves mankind from buying designer pets. You know, now that I think about it, Pascal's plan didn't really seem all that threatening. Believe it or not, I have seen animated movies that are weirder and more graphic than this one, but Felidae stands out in a couple of ways. Movies like Fritz the Cat and Heavy Metal had a unique look and style to them that set them apart from other kid-friendly cartoons. In other words, even though they were animated, they didn't really look like kids' movies. With Felidae, that's not really the case. If you just saw the DVD cover or a few clips of animation, you could be forgiven for thinking that this is a Disney or Don Bluth style animated movie that's okay for kids, even though it definitely is not. But you know what? This actually helps to give this movie a unique feel. The animation is good, the story is strange and unique, and I can't really name another animated movie that's quite like this one. If you're a grown-up fan of animation and are able to get your hands on a copy, I say give this one a look. Well, that's all for now. Until next time.